Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to do the vector silhouette assignment. Okay, and we're going to start with step one, which is to visit the website photopea.com. And then you're going to open from your computer an image of a person. And the image must show the person from head to toe. It must be a full body picture in order for this assignment to work the way that we want it to work. Okay, so I'm going to use this image of Mr. Briglio for this assignment. And the first step is I'm going to click in the Layers tab, and I'm going to click on the image, and I'm going to then click on the lock icon. It looks like a locker lock. I'm going to click on that, and that just ensures that I do not edit this original photo, which is not the intention of this assignment. So we're going to lock it in place, and so nothing happens or goes wrong with our photo. Okay, the next step is that I'm going to add a new layer, and we've used layers for a number of our previous assignments, but in this case, we're going to be using a lot of layers. And so what I recommend you do is that you name your layers so that you don't forget what each of those layers represents. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to name this layer Silhouette because it's going to be the main sort of body image of Mr. Briglio. Okay, so the silhouette is kind of a tricky word to spell, so give me a second here. There we go. Silhouette. Okay, and so all you need to do is zoom in really close to your photo and make sure that you've selected this silhouette layer, and then you need to select the pen tool. Okay, over here on the toolbar that is on the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to select the pen tool, and it looks sort of like an old-fashioned ballpoint pen. Now for this assignment, what I recommend you do is you turn off the fill. So instead of having this red color, we're going to change to say none, no fill. And we're going to play around with this more later, but for the sake of drawing your silhouette, it's easier to do with no fill. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, and we're going to zoom in even more. And you can pick any spot to start, but you are literally just going to surround your photo with these little dots. And you need to make sure that when you're going around round objects that you have more of these little dots. And then when you're surrounding a more straight part, you can disperse your dots a little bit farther away, like that. Okay. So this is kind of a time-consuming process. I will try to speed this up for you. But it is really important that you take your time and do your best to pay close attention to where these little deviations are, because now make sure that you are surrounding the complete outside of your person. Sometimes we get distracted and we want to sort of follow along with a specific color, fabric, or part of the body, but we're going to add in those details later. So right now you're just focused on the outside of your person. Okay, and I'm getting to this. Okay, so now I've clicked on that first dot that I started with to complete my image. So we can now see that the silhouette of Mr. Briglio is complete. So I've completely surrounded him with these little dots. And then I'm going to go back to that fill setting at the top. Okay, and I'm going to click on the red color, but I'm going to change this to black, okay, to create like a true silhouette. So you can see here, if I click to the background, that actually looks like Mr. Briglio. Even though it's just a silhouette of him, you can kind of see his personality or his character in this image already, which I think is really, really neat. Okay. So this is for the level 2. Is just creating this silhouette, but I know that all of you guys can strive for more than this. So the next step is adding in Mr. Briglio's skin. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to add another new layer, and we're going to call this one skin. Okay, and we're going to put it above the silhouette because we want the skin to show up in front. Okay. But in order for us to be able to go back to our image and see what we should be tracing, what we're going to do is we're going to make this silhouette disappear. Okay, we're not deleting it because we need it. We're going to keep it. But we're going to click on this eye. Okay, it looks like a person's eye icon, and that just makes this layer disappear temporarily. Okay, so you can still see it's still there. But now we're going to be able to trace on this new layer, the skin layer, the same way that we traced the whole outline, the whole silhouette. So we're going to go back to our pen tool. We're going to change the fill back to none. Okay, so we're able to see this image a little bit more clearly. And now we're going to trace around Mr. Briglio's face. Okay, just in the areas that we want to change into the skin color that we're going to use. Okay, make sure you get here. Now I'm going to pretend Briglio is not wearing a mask. So I'm going to try to get a little bit closer to his face here. But we also want his neck to be the skin color as well. So I'm going to go down here. Okay, and then click on that first dot again to complete this image. Okay, so now I'm going to change the fill color again. Okay, except instead of black, I'm going to select this, the black edit tool. Okay, and it's going to pop up with this color picker. Now, yesterday we talked about hex colors in class, and so what I recommended you do is Google sort of some suggested hex colors, and that might help direct you to a color that would work well. So I'll just show you how to do that. So we might say pale skin hex color. Okay, and we can try this one and see how it goes. We can always edit, but sometimes it's good to start with a suggestion. So that's a little bit too pale, I think, for Mr. Briglio. So we'll make it a little bit, play around with it a little bit more. Maybe something like that. Okay, we'll try that. Okay. Now it looks a little bit silly if we leave it like this. But if we put that silhouette back on there, and then we're going to click off. Okay, so now we can see our vector silhouette taking shape a little bit more. We've got that face shape. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is add in Mr. Briglio's hair with a dark brown color. So again, we're going to add a new layer. Okay, we're going to position this layer on top. Again, we're going to double click and we're going to name this hair. Okay, and we're going to again click off so we can't see the silhouette, so we can't see the skin. And now we're going to just trace around Mr. Briglio's hair using the pin tool again. So turning this fill off. Okay, and we can start anywhere. So it's a good idea to try to add some of the character in here. Like, don't make it all just straight lines, because we know that hair is not like that. Okay. So now we're going to change this image color. We don't want it to be quite that color. We want it to be a darker brown color. Something like that. Okay. So now let's take a look and see how this looks. Turn back these layers. Click on our background. Okay. Looking good. So now this would be kind of at that level three. We're sort of getting there, adding in some detail. So the next thing I'm going to show you to really get to that, a strong level 3 would be adding in a background. And so we're going to do that, we're just going to insert a rectangle. Okay. And we're going to, oh, actually we don't want to undo. We don't want to do it on our background. We want to add a new layer. We're going to call this background. Okay. And then on our background, we're going to add in our rectangle. And we can change it up here, fill to a blue color, something like that. Okay, and then that way when we turn off our background, we have this silhouette on this sort of colorful background to add in some distinction. Okay. So now the next step is adding in any more details to make this image more realistic. So we could add in his clothes. We could add a new color for his shoes. Any details like that will make it look even more realistic. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's end results.